How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Rollback. Got a sweet one for you today. It is Evolution 2013, and it is Infiltration Akuma versus PR Balrog, or Boxer. We're continuing my series on Evolution 2013. We had sort of the prelude to this matchup with the Laugh versus Infiltration Friendship Killer, and I'm sure you'll be able to guess that we're looking forward to the run back between Balrog and Infiltration in top 8 later. But for now, we are in semifinals pools. And this one is not nearly as remembered as the top 8 match between these two, but I still think that it's a really, really sweet one, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on here. So, some context. Infiltration is the reigning EVO champ and possibly the strongest Street Fighter IV player of all time. He had a stellar competitive record in the years since, including first-place finishes at DreamHack, SoCal and NorCal Regionals, and the Proto-Capcom Cup event called Street Fighter 25th Anniversary Global. There's no reason to think that he won't win it again this year. PR Balrog was one of the strongest American competitors of the time, taking third place at the previous EVO, as well as continuous top 8 placements in each subsequent showing. Rog was known as a solo boxer main, and even his tag stemmed from people referring to him as the Puerto Rican Balrog player. But even before going into the tournament, knowing that he would very likely need to defeat Infiltration in order to win EVO, Rog was unsure about his tried and true boxer in the Akuma matchup. So in the weeks leading up to the big tournament, he trained a few characters in relative secrecy. Both Yang and Fei Long were Infiltration-specific counterpicks that he developed in order to hopefully take the seemingly unstoppable Korean phenom by surprise. An interesting pre-match moment, we see Infiltration jokingly, I think, hover over Hakan, who, while being basically unseen in tournament Street Fighter IV, was known as being an even tougher matchup for Boxer than Akuma.
Joking around with your enemy, making him laugh, takes down the intensity a notch, makes him a little less scary.
And remember, PR Rog does get a chance to play against Shady K, who is a great,
very excellent Akuma player, yeah.
as well. So let's see.
So Yang's secret pick not on display here.
Oh, good counter and punish. Missed the juggle on the sweep though, so no vortex setup for Infiltration just yet.
Here Rog, a very patient player. Oh no, a little too early.
All right, so let's roll this back. This, in theory, seems like a good reason to pick Fei in this matchup. It looks like his Crouch Fierce just slides right underneath the air fireballs from this range. It's a little unfortunate, then, that Akuma just doesn't get hit by it and lands in time to get the full combo punish after the air fireball hits him. So I'm curious whether this was a big deciding factor in Rog's decision to run Fei against Infiltration's Akuma.
Oh no, a little too early with that. Oh, and he gets the completion there with that crouching strong hit from such a great distance.
I mean, that's the one thing that the reason why I'm not sure I like PR Rog going with Fei Long in the end. Fei Long's a character who has to deal with that jumping roundhouse. I mean, sorry, the standing roundhouse. He has to block both hits of that.
What? PR Rog just going snow.
So Rog goes for a delayed flame kick. Infiltration has fully woken up at this point and chooses just to sit back and block. Rog goes for the delayed flame kick to catch a delayed crouch tech. This was not necessarily an uncommon technique, but it was almost always backed up by having 2 bars of meter stocked in order to safely cancel the uppercut. Rog going for it with no safety net here certainly makes it harder to predict. Infiltration couldn't necessarily have guessed that Rog would go for something so unsafe here, but also just on the off chance that Infiltration stays patient and blocks, it ends up being a far riskier maneuver. But that's at least what he was thinking.
Going straight for an uppercut. It's the job of the guy who got knocked down to reversal with an uppercut. You don't uppercut against the guy waking up. That was nuts. I like the excitement and the surprise of the play. Did not work out there.
Okay, no, both fireballs did not connect, did not give him the opportunity to combo that sweep.
Jab strong, fierce.
Low strong, low fierce.
I love Seth calling that out, the jab strong fierce string.
Trying to thread the needles with fireballs.
Yeah, I'm really worried that PR Rog has just been second guessing.
All right, interesting moment here. Rog finds a really nice jump angle to get right over the fireball. Pretty ideal if you were just trying to obviously not get hit by the fireball, gain some space on screen. Infiltration, though, has time to land and dash forward, putting him well within the range of attack on PR Rog's landing, and uses this to his advantage, as he can probably sense PR Rog's hesitancy upon landing, and then just takes the opportunity to walk up for a throw. Infiltration knew that Rog knew that he was going to be at a disadvantage here after landing right in Infiltration's face like this. Knows that he's just going to be blocking and goes for the throw.
For so much, but I think he's actually a little nervous to actually go for it.
Yeah, and you can see that. You're not getting the dash in, you're not getting the throw attempts. He's just sort of sitting back and trying to play a very traditional Fei Long, which of course Infiltration is completely ready for. And again, the story of this match so far is not the life bars, it's the control. And the control has been 100% Infiltration. He is deciding when they're going to engage. He is deciding when to generate the offense.
Oh, he went for the
almost
mix-up.
got to the other side.
All right, wild interaction here. Rog gets a really nice little anti-air option here. Catches Infiltration, doing the demon flip to get out of the corner. The dive kick follow-up from the demon flip is now pointing the wrong way, which lets PR Rog get basically a free anti-air, anything he wants. He goes for jab. Akuma flips out here, is completely inactionable until he hits the ground. PR Rog takes advantage of Fei's insanely quick and low-profiling dash to get to the other side of Akuma here. This is certainly an extremely tricky mix-up that's going to be basically impossible to react to visually. My guess here, though, is that Infiltration is pumping out an uppercut or trying to, but fails to get the input since PR Rog crosses him up, gets to the other side of him, and so just gets the crouching fierce to punish the dash through to the other side.
Oh, he went for the
almost
mix-up.
got to the other side. Didn't get there.
Oh, here we go.
Wow.
Big opportunity for PR.
Kind of a lucky jump in. Infiltration definitely had the chance to anti-air in there, but PR Rog gets a little bit of pressure because of it. So Infiltration senses Rog's hesitancy. Rog is baiting out some kind of invincible reversal here. Infiltration reads that correctly, just demon flips to, again, get out of the corner. Same situation as before. Infiltration goes for the dive kick, but it's facing the wrong way. So Rog gets the jab anti-air. Same thing again, goes for the dash under, but it doesn't cross up this time.
Oh, no.
Rather than trying to DP, Infiltration just teleports to dodge the whole thing.
Even a throw. He's got a lot for Chip. Smart stuff.
What?
Wow, he bet it all.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's certainly a questionable looking decision. And it's actually kind of similar to the flame kick, the raw flame kick idea that we saw in round one. The raw ultra is a hard read on a delayed button from Infiltration. Same thing as trying to catch his delayed crouch tech with the flame kick in round one, but exact same thing, the exact same results, essentially. Infiltration stays patient, just blocks, and yeah, this is an even more risky and more prone to failure version of that read, as the opponent is locked out of inputs after the ultra activation. Basically meaning there's an even smaller window in which the opponent could make the mistake of pressing a button. Let's say that this had been a flame kick instead, and it starts up on this frame. There would have been, I think, 5 more frames in which Infiltration could have input, something like a crouch tech, and the invincibility of the flame kick would have passed through it and caught him. Instead, since the ultra is the thing input instead of flame kick, it completely locks out any animation. So it's even tougher to catch somebody trying to crouch tech or something like that with an ultra than it is for a flame kick.
What?
Wow, he dead it all.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure what that was supposed to counter, possibly a throw attempt.
So by all accounts, we can consider this counter pick unsuccessful. Though the life bars were relatively close, Balrog doesn't think that running it back will do him any favors, so he chooses to switch back to his tried and true and namesake Balrog for the remainder of the set.
On how to destroy his opponent. Who knows what evil lies in the heart of Infiltration's phone? Wow.
Yeah, very bold option from Infiltration. There's enough pushback here that a punish isn't really available to Akuma, but what Akuma does have is an insane walk speed. And on top of that, Infiltration has the read that Pierre Balrog will be conservative, hesitant after producing such a minus on block normal, and so uses the walk speed to essentially punish the sweep by closing the gap all the way.
Wow, that's the old Infiltration. I think he could be able to get the counter hit combo there.
So this is a nice tool that Rog has in this matchup, the turnaround punch, or tap for short. It has some projectile invincibility, as we see right here. It moves across the screen pretty quickly, catches Akuma out of the air. Good way to situationally get around the oppressive Akuma air fireball game. And while he does get the trade here, basically anytime you can trade against Akuma, you should. Really make Akuma's low life into the disadvantage that it should be.
Good trade for PR Balrog. Oh, wow, gets a full crumple.
And here is our first instance of the focus attack crumple bait that Rog starts doing in this set. So Boxer had a relatively short range focus attack, so Rog has to walk up to a very precise position right here. We can see after the jab, he takes a slight step forward before initiating the focus attack. It has to be at this range where Boxer's short range focus attack will still land on the opposing character, but that he's out of range of a throw. So there's no danger of getting thrown out of the focus attack. Because Balrog's focus attack is considered relatively weak, this strategy was not heavily employed at the time. However, we see that Rog uses Boxer's walk speed as a means of essentially extending the range of his focus attack. And what he's looking for here is trying to catch a throw tech, a standing throw tech. A lot of times when people see focus attack, they will, from a close range, they will try to throw Boxer out of it. So what he does have here is a sort of slight auto shimmy. This is the animation of the focus attack, and we can see it pulls Balrog's hurt box back just slightly. So Balrog is going to use these two in concert, Balrog's walk speed and the slight auto shimmy built into the focus attack to bait out throws. But as we can see here, it also works just fine against crouching, medium punch, or any single hit attack. The armor from the focus attack absorbs it and punishes on the other side and gets the crumple.
Oh, wow, gets the full crumple. Will it complete it this time? Yes.
Yeah, not going to do the ultra because it wouldn't have done anything.
And there it is. Exact same thing.
Are we going to see somebody
goes into the raw ultra
I'm loving it.
and ends the round. We can see Infiltration smiling a little bit too. He's maybe a little shaken, maybe thinking, oh, that was cute. Time will tell.
Punish it by walking up and focus attacking. And Infiltration going with a couple of crouch attacks and getting blown up with those focus attacks.
Infiltration definitely not above the crouch tech.
Yeah.
It's a good on paper. It's the right play in a lot of situations, and it's only when you know.
Really good awareness by Pierre Rog here, seeing that Infiltration goes into the focus attack here. Pretty much in the worst case scenario, he's already used up the hit of armor before the focus attack has even started up. Balrog quickly reacts with the sweep. Any second button would have done the trick here, sweep just being a good option to cover the somewhat long distance between the characters here.
And it's only when you know that your opponent's going for it that you can really punish it. Infiltration loves his numbers. Crouch tech getting blown up there. Here, Balrog can tend to sit back.
All right. Really interesting scenario here. We can see he goes for the exact same thing once again. Jab, jab, step forward, focus attack. Looking for the exact same thing. This time, however, we can see what happens when Infiltration doesn't immediately fall for it. Infiltration instead backdashes right away. And Balrog reacts to this very quickly, almost immediately forward dashes to cancel out of the focus attack. And even though it didn't work out in Rog's favor this time, because Infiltration had an equally good reaction with the sweep, it's still notable that Balrog was ready for this inevitability, at least somewhat.
Again, showing that focus attack. Infiltration a little more conservative this time around. Nice counter. Wow. Very nice counter.
Oh, wow, he got him. Oh, he went for a mix-up.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do
Yeah, this is sort of a classic Balrog mix-up. Balrog doesn't have a cross-up button, so he can't do something like a jump-in cross-up. The best he can do is this sort of ambiguous, which side am I going to land on sort of mix-up, left or right. Infiltration bypasses the whole thing.
I'm not a fan of that Balrog mix-up, but gets out of there without too much trouble. Wow, turn punch from close range. Good stuff.
watch, Infiltration has to be careful. One hit can lead into a combo, into a super.
Oh, no.
And he got him.
That's good.
Even on the empty jump.
Really incredible, yeah, as James says. Really incredible ability by Infiltration to use the Raging Demon better than pretty much anybody else at the time. Balrog goes for what looks like a really safe empty jump. Infiltration, you know, now that I'm looking at this, I'm curious whether this sweep was intentional. And now I'm sort of convincing myself that it was. That Infiltration uses the sweep to low profile here, just in case Balrog had gone for something like a jump fierce to try and get under it. Akuma's sweep is cancelable into Raging Demon in this game, and so this is just a good way to both get out of the range, get out of the way of an incoming jump attack, and then also input the sort of complex button inputs that the Raging Demon requires. Raging Demon itself is a command grab that grabs on frame 1. So as soon as Balrog lands, he's already being grabbed. And it's, I believe, just a true punish on any sort of jump in, sort of an anti-air Raging Demon, which is really, really impressive. Infiltration was said to have a one-button Raging Demon. He didn't, but the speed and consistency with which he pulled off this strange move sort of made it seem like he did.
Super.
Oh, no.
And he got him.
That's good.
Even on the empty jump.
Yeah. Wow. Balrog strangely survives it, and
Yeah,
that'll get him out, but he won't live long. Yeah.
I mean, that was the only thing Balrog can do, and that was smart. I mean, because he didn't want to waste the meter.
Why not? Yeah, you don't burn any meter.
Yeah.
Here Balrog now, fighting for a spot in winner's bracket. Nice crouching pop, pierce, clean counter.
Now again, Balrog with that meter. Oh.
As I believe James was just about to point out, similar to what I showed in the Laugh versus Infiltration set from earlier, Akuma Sweep is not typically punishable because of the insane amount of pushback that it does. But Infiltration does have to be a little bit careful because Boxer is one of those characters with a super that has incredibly quick startup and rushes across the screen very quickly. And it is able to punish Akuma Sweep. There's the focus bait again.
Again?
Saving the meter. He's saving the meter, it looks
That,
like.
Another risky sweep.
I don't know if I can approve that meter. Like it's mine to approve. That's a tough one. Could have really put Infiltration on his heels there. And now...
Wow. Just get
Yeah, kind of a cool sort of movement mix-up that, I mean, who's going to be ready for this? You're getting completely locked down by the EX air fireball. Infiltration gets to land completely safely as Balrog has to block the fireball. Follows up with walk forward jab into demon flip just to get out of the corner and force Balrog to have to chase him down all over again. This is the, Infiltration's signature playstyle that can just be incredibly frustrating to play against. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to fight against Infiltration's Akuma in this game.
Oh, wow. Just getting himself out of the corner. Flipping out of the corner.
Do you think he wants the meter to play defense in case he gets Vortex with QEX rush punches to escape? I don't think that's good against him.
Oh, here we go. And now very close.
Really great jump in angle from Balrog. Slightly waits a few frames for the fireball to start coming forward so that he gets right over the top of it, and then does a super late jump fierce. Infiltration was looking to catch Balrog's landing frames, but the hitbox on the jump fierce is good enough that it hits from pretty far away.
I think that's good against him.
Oh, here we go. And now very close to being able to chip him out.
Yeah.
Ooh, kind of an innocuous but very, I think, key moment of this whole round and maybe this whole set. Infiltration successfully walks outside of Boxer's throw range and punishes with the low forward, confirms into fireball, focus attack, dash cancel as he has done so many times before. But because this low medium kick hits at just the very tip range, the fireball follow-up does not combo. And so instead of getting a hard knockdown into a potentially round-ending vortex for Akuma, Infiltration instead just spent 2 meters on nothing and has to return to playing the neutral game.
Chip him out with a super.
That does do an enormous amount of chip.
Yeah, but he needs to get one more solid hit.
Yeah.
He needs to get one more solid hit.
I'd say.
And now with a huge life lead, Balrog just gets to sit back, hold Akuma in the corner, and wait for an opportunity.
Okay,
Oh, no.
Oh, he's faking it. Oh, wow. Just a cross.
And then being so close to chip range, Infiltration had to make something happen here, had to get out of the way of the next dash punch, and Balrog just walks all the way forward and gets a clean anti-air. Ties it up.
You gotta imagine, he's probably thinking to himself, what if I had just gone with Balrog right away? But you know what? He still has this opportunity. Let's see what he can do.
Oh, very close to connecting that jump. But Infiltration with the uppercut, scooping it out of the air. Jump. But Infiltration with the uppercut, scooping it out of the air. Tries to focus. Jump. But Infiltration with the uppercut, scooping it out of the air.
Infiltration gets a... I don't think we've seen him go for the cross-up Tatsu so far. Really good option in this situation. Catches Balrog initiating a focus attack, but he is now facing the wrong way. So Balrog knows he's in trouble and tries to backdash cancel it, but still gets caught by the sweep here. Really good option and awareness by Infiltration.
Scooping it out of the air, tries to focus out of there. That's no good for Balrog.
Ooh, there was another one of the focus baits. Doesn't get the crumple this time.
Standard Balrog shimmy.
Wow.
But the success rate on these has been extremely high.
Here comes the knockdown. Doesn't want to surrender that corner position.
This time, Balrog does not go for the focus attack. Infiltration goes for cross-up Tatsu again. And rather than going for focus attack and getting sweep punished, Infiltration has just cornered himself. Senses, the danger he's put himself in and jumps out immediately.
Now goes for it. And notice what PR Balrog has not gone. Have we seen him attempt a single throw against?
Oh, he chased it down.
He got it.
That's the Balrog specialty.
And Balrog chases him down with a delayed turnaround punch. After this sweep knockdown, this is sort of what Boxer thrives on in this game. He gets a knockdown into jab, dash punch sort of pressure, sneaking in overheads every now and then. Infiltration just tries to, as many players would in this situation, bypass the entire thing with an invincible backdash just to create some screen space. But Balrog, and let's just watch the movement here. He gets the dash forward, takes a slight step back, just to, I guess, give Infiltration the sort of feeling of security, make him feel like it's safe to go for a backdash, and then initiates the turn punch to catch him. And because backdashes are considered airborne while they're active, when Infiltration gets hit here, he gets launched out of the air, essentially, and is easily comboable into Ultra 1.
He got it.
That's the Balrog specialty, chasing down the backdash. And now he has one round away.
Match point, PR Balrog, and the crowd is going nuts.
That is the specialty from Balrog.
Will he complete this? Will he complete this?
Here we go.
Excellent combo to start off round 2 by PR Rog. So Rog knew that Boxer's strength in this matchup is the ability to stun Akuma quickly. And so I remember him saying that he made it a point to lab these extended Boxer combos in order to get Akuma stunned as quickly as possible, as well as to push all the way to the corner. There are, a few difficult links thrown in here, so it's something that you have to be really confident of to go for in such a high pressure match scenario.
Will he complete this?
Here we go.
So Infiltration knows that he is on the verge of stun now. Pierre Rog uses this opportunity to throw in the first overhead of the set, thinking that maybe he can catch Infiltration a little bit shaken, but Infiltration manages to block it just in time.
Very high. Good block.
Okay,
Punishes.
He's going to take a little bit of damage off of this.
Good trade.
Oh, he'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, as I said, any trade you can get with Akuma is good, especially when you have the life lead. There's the focus shimmy again. Does not get the combo this time. All right, hang on. We got to roll this back. This is just so much crazy stuff happening at once here. Gets a step forward into the focus attack. Focus attack being kind of a weird mechanic in this game. Its advantage or disadvantage on block is dependent on the character using it, and more so on the speed of the character's dash. So that's the one thing Rog does have going for him with the focus attack, is because of his extremely quick dash, he can make it plus on block. And so it gets to continue pressure afterwards here with a crouch jab. Even though Akuma didn't, or even though Infiltration didn't actually fall for the bait this time. And this is the bread and butter of Balrog's gameplay. Crouching jab, using this extremely fast walk speed to get out of the range of the throw and punish with the shimmy.
I go down.
And so, just to have to stop here once again. This we saw PR Rog hit this combo at the beginning of the round. If he completes it here, if he continues the combo here, he builds another meter, which allows him to continue it even further. And Akuma is likely dead if PR Rog lands the combo a second time. But he drops it.
Okay. Infiltration on his heels, down to his lap. What a read! What a read! The crowd's going nuts. PR Balrog is doing a barrel roll.
And once again, Infiltration in the corner with a sliver of life. Knows that chip damage is a threat at this point. Knows he has to do something. Goes for a demon flip to get out of the corner. And PR Rog chooses a perfect moment to EX headbutt. If it had been blocked, it would have killed as well. But of course, it's a clean hit here. And PR Rog takes the round, the game, and the match.
What a read! What a read! The crowd's going nuts. PR Balrog is doing a barrel roll.
As Seth points out, PR Rog does a barrel roll. Justin Wong was the one who made it famous for his EVO 2014 Marvel win, but PR Rog did it first. All right, that's going to do it for this one. Highly encourage you to check out this full match. I'll have a link in the description. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there were any other cool moments that I didn't cover, and let me know what match I should cover next. Thank you so much for watching.
Perfect.